Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent Nintendo/gaming video for this week, for the week of October 31st to November 6th. Hopefully, all of you had an enjoyable and safe Happy Halloween over the weekends and all. And we got 4 stories to cover, including Nintendo releasing their financial report, though. Sakurai making a comment in terms of the future of the Smash Brothers series in general, though. Microsoft and Sega are sort of teaming up to a certain degree, or to a certain degree in some cases, though. And Activision Blizzard basically is doing something that is viewed, at least to a certain extent, a step in the right direction, though. And if you're interested in where I got all this information, or where I looked up this information, though, links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, we're going to do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cent part. These are stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details. The first one is that it seems as though Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack video that they showed, in terms of the details of that has now become probably Nintendo's most disliked YouTube video, supposedly overtaking Metroid Prime Federation Force. So not a great thing for Nintendo to have exact, although we're going to get into basically the subscription numbers, at least according to what Nintendo is saying, though. We also learned that Platinum Game has delayed Soul Cresta, if I'm saying that name correctly. It was supposed to come out in December, but it's now been pushed into next year, though. Unfortunate, though, but if they need to take some time to iron some things out, it's better that they do that and all, though. We also learned that Nintendo of America has closed some of their offices in California and in Toronto, though. So basically, they're going to be moving some of those employees, or to a certain degree, though. While none of the employees, at least what I'm hearing, is being fired, they're going to have to make a decision if they want to relocate to, I believe, Ontario, or not Ontario, but Vancouver, British Columbia, or Redwood, Washington. So this one hand, it's kind of neat, if I'm reading this correctly. One hand, they're not being fired, but on the other hand, they might be relocated, and that might be somewhat of a tough decision for some of these employees and all. We also learned that the rumors going around that Nintendo and Illumination are probably working on a Donkey Kong movie with Seth Rogen voicing Donkey Kong. Now, nothing has been confirmed this time, and it's unclear whether or not this movie will happen. I'm thinking most likely they're going to see how well the Mario movie is received, if it does well at the box office. If it does, then don't be surprised if a Donkey Kong movie happens or not. But we'll have to wait and see if that rumor does turn out to be true or not. We also learned that Nintendo and Lego are teaming up, and they are going to continue with, the Lego Super Mario, which is going to now go into the Luigi Mansion side of it, though. So you're going to see Luigi Mansion Lego Super Mario sets, though. So obviously the Lego Super Mario thing seems to be doing very well for both of them, and unfortunately this will be out, the Lego Luigi Mansion one will be out next year, which is a little bit unfortunate, because around the time of Halloween, this would have been a great thing to basically advertise. This would have been a great moment to take advantage of the Halloween season and all, but obviously we're going to have to wait until next year for the Luigi Mansion Lego set, though. We also learned that Nintendo has updated Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and one of the updates is that you can now use the N64 controller, the one for the Nintendo expansion passes that have the N64 games. You could use that on the Super Mario 64 game that is in the Super Mario 3D All-Stars that came out last year, but was under sort of a limited run, though. So great for those who who didn't like the idea of using the Joy-Cons or the Switch Pro controller, but not great for those who missed out on picking up that game, since that was a limited run game, to be exact. We also learned that basically Marvel's Midnight Sun has now been pushed back to the second half of 2022. It was originally supposed to come out in March of 2022, and while that is a little bit unfortunate, though, again, if it needs some more time in the oven for them to iron it out, then that's what it is, though. So hopefully it's well worth the wait and all, though. It is very interesting the direction that it's going, being that it's developed by the same folks who did the Civilization and the XCOM series, though. I am still very curious of how the Switch version is going to run and whether or not there's going to be a physical version, or if it's going to be like it was with XCOM 2, it's going to require you to download the rest of the game. So we'll still have to wait and see on that, to be exact, though. But either way, Marvel's Midnight Sun, at least for all platforms, has now been pushed back to the second half of 2022. And last but not least, though, we've learned that Take-Two has canceled a unannounced game from Hangar 13 that wasn't Mafia 4 or anything like that. It was a different game that they were working on, or original IP, and supposedly the report is that it cost them $53 million. And ouch, indeed, that certainly is a lot of money, to be exact. No word if there's going to be any layoffs or anything like that, but it is a little bit unfortunate that whatever game Hangar 13 was working on, though, obviously it's not going to see the light of day, which is really a shame, to be exact. Okay, with the quick My 2 cent part now done, we will get started with our first story, and this one has to do with Activision Blizzard, though. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware that Activision Blizzard is no stranger for controversies. The company has been well known for it, especially with their CEO, Bobby Kotick, who had a if I'm saying his name correctly, who basically had a history, of letting people go because they didn't make all the money in the world while fattening their own pockets and all that. And they certainly have received a notorious and bad reputation and all, though. Well, earlier this year, we learned that the state of California, my home state, basically was investigating Activision Blizzard when it learned for the fact that there were certainly some inappropriate workplace behavior, ranging from it being a fraternity-like environment and all. This led to basically protests from Activision Blizzard. Activision, the CEOs tried to respond to this, but the response came off as tone deaf, and they supposedly hire a firm to investigate, which is known for a history of being union busting and all. So it certainly did not sit very well for Activision Blizzard and all. Well, recently it seems as though that Activision Blizzard may have supposedly settle the situation, or at least, I won't say completely settle, but it sounds like it is a step in the right direction, depending on how you want to look at the situation. In a article posted on let me see if I get it, though, from an article from TechSpot, it reads that Activision CEO cuts own pay to $62,500 amidst company sexual harassment lawsuit. The article reads, quote, "This week, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick announced to investors that he has asked for his salary to be cut to the lowest legal amount for California this year. It's one of the commitments he promised to address the controversy surrounding Activision Blizzard's multiple investigations over discrimination and sexual harassment. In a letter published on Activision Blizzard's investor relation page, Kotick asked the board of directors to cut his total compensation to $62,500 until it's determined the company has achieved transformational gender-related goals, along with a series of commitments he laid out in a letter. Kotick also has asked to receive no bonuses or equal compensation until they determine they have met these obligations. In a letter, Kotick proposed a company-wide zero-tolerance policy for harassment. That means no longer using written warnings and terminating employees found retaliating against anyone making a complaint. Kotick wants to increase the number of women and non-binary people in Activision Blizzard by 50% while dedicating $250 million to boost opportunities for diverse talent. He also says employees will no longer be required to arbitrate ARBITRATE sexual harassment and discrimination claims. In April, Kotick took a 50% pay cut and a 50% reduction in his target bonus, but he was still eligible to earn up to 200% of that cut salary. Earlier in March, an investor group criticized Kotick over a bonus payment it said worth almost $200 million, though. However, over the summer, California California Department of Fair Housing and Employment slapped Activision Blizzard with a lawsuit allegedly allowing a frat house culture rifle with sexual harassment and discrimination against females employees, though. The ABK Work Alliance, a group of Activision Blizzard employees, the emerged to seek a change in the company after lawsuit started, calling Kotick's announcement a huge win. It practically praised the removal of forced arbitration. It says, we still stand by our demands that the investigation must be done in an unbiased third party, of which William Hayes, has allegations of them being a union busting group, is not one. So this is I will say, assuming this is all correct though, this sounds like this is definitely a step in the right direction though. Does that mean that their image is going to change overnight? Probably not though. I think Activision Blizzard still has a lot of work to do if they want to change their image and change some of the culture that unfortunately has plagued the gaming industry to a certain degree though. But I will say, it's a nice step. It isn't perfect by any stretch though, and I think more work needs to be done, but I think this is a good step in the right direction for Activision Blizzard though. Hopefully we'll see other companies sort of take that measure as well, especially Ubisoft, with a report coming out that the employees there are not happy with what's going on over there and are seeing what's going on with Activision Blizzard and want to see something similar as well. I also still stand behind my belief that if developers want to unionize though, then I think that is something they need to decide if they want to do that or not. It's got to be their call. Yes, there are ups and downs for unionization though, but they have to make the decision if they truly believe unionization is the best way to go though. So overall, I view this as a step in the right direction. Do I think more work needs to be done? Absolutely. And by all means, this isn't 100% perfect. There still needs to be more work, but I definitely don't deny that this is definitely at least a good step in the right direction. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one has to do with Sega and Microsoft somewhat teaming up to a certain degree. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Microsoft and Sega, though. Now, the reason is that recently they just announced an interesting sort of partnership, though. Now, before that, ultimately, there have been plenty of rumors that have popped up with the idea of Microsoft might be buying Sega and all that stuff, and that rumor has been going on for quite some time though, and it certainly has mostly intensified once we learned about Microsoft buying ZeniMax and Bethesda and all, and that sort of raised the question of could they be buying Sega and all. Not to mention Phil Spencer has come out making claims that they are not done with acquiring studios and all. Well, recently though, Microsoft and Sega has sort of announced sort of a partnership. It isn't Microsoft buying Sega, but I could see some people seeing this sort of paving the way for maybe that kind of acquisition happening though. In an article on GameIndustry.biz, it reads that, quote, Microsoft and Sega has announced that they are in discussion to form a strategic alliance that will see the Japanese publisher use Microsoft's cloud technology in its game development. The two companies had formed an agreement in principle that will explore a way for Sega to produce large-scale global games in the next generation development environment built on Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. Sega aims to improve its development process, especially in an age when more people are working remotely or from different sites. The company adds that by shifting to a new development platform, it can effectively adapt to diversifying work style and potential infrastructure change. Mixed into this announcement is talks of Sega's new Super Game strategy, which describes as an initiative to develop a new and innovative titles where the key focus are global, online, community, and IP utilization. There's also mention of Sega and Microsoft working together to build further technological evolution with areas such as network infrastructure and communication tools required for global online services being a key priority. Given the early stage of this partnership, it's unclear what this means, but it suggests Sega is investigating the potential to build more online services and live service games using Microsoft tech. Microsoft has previously entered a similar agreement with Sony, which saw the two rival platform holders working together on using Microsoft's Azure to power cloud service and AI technology. Cloud tech has become a major pillar for Microsoft, especially over the past 2 years, with so many people working from home during the pandemic. In its most recent financial, the company reported that almost half of its quarterly revenue, $20.7 billion, in fact, came from Microsoft Cloud. So, does this indicate in any shape or any form that Microsoft is buying Sega? At this time, the answer is probably no. I mean, all this could be is just like what we saw when both Sony and Microsoft decided to partner up, and that is just nothing to do with the Xbox brand or anything like that. It just had to do with, the other stuff Microsoft is known for. And that's what this could all end up being. Just Sega using some of the stuff that Microsoft is known for outside of Xbox to basically, excuse me, help them with game development, though. That said, though, it is possible, though you don't know, though, for certainly, but it is possible that this could, to some degree, open the door to the possibility of Microsoft might be interested in buying Sega, though. After all, like I said before, Phil Spencer has said that they are not done with studio acquisitions or anything like that. And Microsoft has talked about trying to get a foothold into Japan or get more Japanese developers on board. So it does certainly open the door to that possibility, but time will ultimately tell whether that truly happens or not. So overall, though, obviously Sega and Microsoft are working together on something. This involves the cloud technology. Whether it succeeds or not remains to be seen, and who knows what this super game is going to look like and all. As for whether this leads to the possibility of Microsoft buying Sega, it's certainly, in my view, I certainly see it as it opens the door to that possibility, but right now it doesn't seem to indicate that Microsoft is buying Sega anytime soon, or at least for the moment, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3, and this one has to do with Sakurai, if I'm saying his name correctly, making a comment in regarding the future of the Smash Brothers series. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our third part of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at some comments made by Mr. Sakurai, if I'm saying his name correctly, though. Now, I'm sure that name should be familiar for a lot of folks because he is the person who helps worked on the Super Smash Bros. Series, Nintendo's own fighting game that has started back during the N64 era and still remains popular to this day, though. Recently, though, they concluded with their DLC fighters, with Sora from Kingdom Hearts finally being the last fighter being brought over to the Super Smash Bros. Series, though. And with that, though, Mr. Sakurai has sort of decided to take a bit of a break, which he does deserve given the amount of work he has worked on the game, though. Well, in a recent interviews he has made about the future of Smash Bros. Series, though, it seems as though he's unsure if the game series could continue without him, though. In an article from Game Chronicles, though, it reads that, quote, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate director Sakurai has said he's undecided if he'll make another entry now that the Switch installment's generous DLC schedule is completed. Last month, Ultimate's final DLC character, Sora from Kingdom Hearts series, was released. This marks the completion of nearly 3 years of DLC for the fighter, which has seen 11 new characters added to the game. This week, the Japanese magazine Famitsu has published a special interview with series lead Sakurai, in which the creator reflects on the lengthy development of Ultimate and answers questions about his future. In early executives published by RYOKUTYA 2089, translated by VGC, Sakurai revealed that he's unsure if he'll continue with the Smash Bros. Series beyond Ultimate, which eventually became so large that he previously claimed there was no way the series could ever be as big again. I'm not thinking about a sequel Sakurai told Famitsu, but I can't say that this is definitely the last Smash Brothers. He added, I need to think about whether we should release another Smash Brothers game at the risk of disappointing the users. Later in the interview, Sakurai reportedly told publications that he did not believe Smash Brothers series could continue without his involvement. I can't see any way to produce Smash Brothers without me, he said. To be honest, I like to leave it to someone else, and I've actually tried that, but it hasn't worked out. He continued, though, if we're going to continue with the series, Nintendo and I need to discuss and seriously consider how to make it a success. So, I'll be honest with you, though, I really do not believe Smash Brothers on the Switch is going to be the last Smash Brothers game and all. I think given the popularity of the series and the amount of money it has made, though, I don't deny that Nintendo will probably put out another Smash for their next system, whether it's a Switch.to or something completely different, though. As for Mr. Sakurai's involvement, though, I mean, I can understand where it could be difficult to do another Smash game without him and all, but at the same time, it is possible they may have to prepare for a time when he's not going to be there if they do another Smash Brothers game, though. That said, I think it's probably going to be years away before we even consider talking about another Smash game, though. I think it's going to be a while. I personally think he's probably going to take Mr. Sakurai is going to take a bit of a break and all, and maybe we'll see what he does. Maybe he'll work on a different game to be exact. Personally, I would love for him to do a remake or remaster of Kid Icarus Uprising for the Nintendo Switch. That would be nice. I would like to see that happen, or at least a sequel on the Nintendo Switch. I think that IP does deserve another shot. I mean, hell, if Fire Emblem is doing very well, if Advance Wars is getting another shot, though, I can't see how Kid Icarus can't. But either way, it's going to be his call at the end of the day. But overall, though, I don't deny that we'll probably have another Smash Brothers game. I do believe that will happen. I also don't deny the fact that it's probably going to be a while before we even consider talking about the next Smash game, though. Whether he is involved or not remains to be seen. I can understand it might be tough to do another Smash game without Mr. Sakurai, though, but at the same time, it is possible one day that the next Smash, that a future Smash game may not have his involvement at all. But time will ultimately tell whether that truly happens or not. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one, not part 2, part 4, and this one has to do with Nintendo's financial report that they just recently released. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Nintendo's financial report that they just recently released, and there's some interesting information they have released so far, though. Over in terms of how many Nintendo Switch has been sold so far, in their latest fiscal report, though, they have reported that they have sold 92.87 million Nintendo Switches, with software topping at 681.00 million units sold, though. So it's getting there in terms of overtaking the Wii, though, but not there yet, though. So it still has it, but it's getting very close, though. It's nowhere near in terms of the Game Boy, which has sold 118.69 million units, or the Nintendo DS, which has sold 154.02 million units. So, but it is, many believe that it will basically overtake the Wii, possibly over the holidays to be exact though. In terms of the top selling games so far, in terms of their fiscal report, they have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 38.74 million units sold, Animal Crossing New Horizon at 34.85 million units sold, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 25.71 million units sold, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 24.13 million units sold, Pokemon Sword and Shield at 22.64 million units sold, Super Mario Odyssey at 21.95 million units sold, Super Mario Party at 16.48 million units sold, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee at 13.83 million units sold, Splatoon 2 at 12.68 million units sold, and Ring Fit Adventure at 12.21 million units sold though. In terms of stuff like their Switch Online service, according to Nintendo, despite the Nintendo Switch Online, at least the expansion packs getting downvoted big time on YouTube, so far it seems that it has basically passed 32 million subscriber as of September 2021 though. According to Nintendo Enthusiasts, it says in last year's results, Nintendo Switch Online had 26 million users, so it has seen an increase of 6 million over the past year. This number isn't surprising as Nintendo has been releasing a load, if I'm saying the name correctly, of well-received software, encouraging non-Switch owners to invest in the platform. With that in mind, the same financial report revealed the usual update of Switch reaching 92.87 million, as I mentioned though. So obviously, despite the downvote on YouTube, it doesn't seem to have stopped people from signing up to Switch's online service though. Though we'll be interested to see how much of that is because of the Animal Crossing thing though. Over in terms of what they have talked to investors, they are looking into basically put some more money into some stuff though. So in terms of, they talked about invested about $888 million in terms of expanding software framework. They said Nintendo has started that this is primary money to organize, expand its game development assets and creative culture. It doesn't rule out mergers or acquisition, but clearly the hope is to grow internally as a priority above simply buying other studios / companies. They're going to invest basically $440 million in non-gaming entertainment. This will focus on developing software opportunities beyond the core gaming business, but with crossovers to core businesses. For example, projects like the upcoming Super Mario movie, partnership like Legos and other interactive products. And they plan to spend $2.64 billion on basically infrastructure or Nintendo account or expand relationship with consumers. This is a huge sum of money with an interest goal, especially in light of criticism around Nintendo's online and account offering. The focus is to maintain and expand the relationship with consumers with Nintendo accounts to offer better experience and better service beyond just being focused on the move to digital. It appears aim at building a unique Nintendo service infrastructure, while My Nintendo and its products will also be reviewed as part of the investment though. In terms of their profits though, it's been reported that their profits are down, but supposedly will be on track despite the drop in Switch sales. According to a report by the Nikkei, it reads that, quote, "For Nintendo Switch hardware, though, we reduced our forecast by 1.50 million units to 24.00 million units. Our shipment forecast for the second half was reduced because of the change in our production plans due to the effect of the global semiconductor shortage. On the other hand, we revise the Nintendo Switch software forecast up by 10.00 million units to 200.00 million units based on the sale performance of the first half, though. In terms of their net sales, they made like 5.47 billion, down from 18.9% on the previous year. Operating profits has basically approximately $1.93 billion, down 24.5% on previous years. Net profit is 171.8 billion yen. Actually, that's approximately 1.5 billion on US dollars, down from 19.4 on the previous year, though. So they're not losing. They're still stable. The Switch is still selling very well, but obviously, it's not near like it was last year. Obviously, because last year we had the pandemic. This year, not so much. And then last but not least, they did confirming about a next game system, but coming from in 20XX, though. In a report that was mentioned about this, though, it was mentioned, quote, Nintendo plans to continue to expand its business around the core concept of creating unique integrated hardware-software products. We've seen a virtuous cycle with our integrated hardware-software business and the provision of service and content based on Nintendo's account, in which touch points are created with even more consumers and straightened to establish long-term mutual positive relationship. They showed basically a site that says integrated hardware, software, Nintendo next gaming system, 20XX though. So obviously it's not surprising they're thinking about their next system and all. Usually whenever they put out a system, they always start thinking about their next system. Whether what that next system might be remains to be seen. Honestly, I personally think it would be extremely difficult for Nintendo to go back to the days of just having a console and a handheld, though. I just feel like Nintendo is going to obviously believe that Nintendo will probably stick with the Switch concept and design for quite a while, though. I don't see them abandoning that concept, considering how well it has been received so far, though. I do think that given their relationship with NVIDIA, though, I do think that a more powerful Switch will eventually happen. When it will happen remains to be seen and all that stuff, but I believe Nintendo will probably stick with the Switch concept, though. One big sticking point will be basically backwards compatibility, though. I do wonder how that will work with their next system, whether they call it a Switch or call it something else, though, to be exact, though. So overall, obviously, Nintendo is still making money. They're still financially stable. Obviously, stuff are down compared to where it was last year. Some of it, I think, is because of the pandemic, though. Other factors because of the chip shortage situation, though. But obviously, based on the financial report, Nintendo is doing very well. As far as hints about their next system, though, obviously, we know that you're working on it. It's probably going to be a while until we hear what that next system might be, given how well the Switch has been selling lately, though. Though I do wonder if next year will be the year that they will start more about talking about their next system, though. And if so, will it be the Switch concept or not? Like I said, I think they're probably going to stick with that because I can't see them doing something like a console and then a handheld, making them separate or anything like that, though. And I do hope that whatever their next system is backwards compatible with like the current Switch games that are out there, though. Okay, this concludes It's My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about supposedly what Bobby Kotick's doing in Activision Blizzard and making some of these changes? Do you think this is the right approach for Activision Blizzard to go, though? Do you think this is a step in the right direction in terms of changing the culture, to him getting a pay cut and all? Or do you think more needs to be done, to be exact? What are your thoughts about this partnership with Sega and Microsoft? Do you see it in the same ways like with Microsoft and Sony is just working on this thing, this Azure cloud technology and nothing really special? Or do you think this opens the door to the possibility that Microsoft might be buying Sega and this might be the start of something like that, though? What are your thoughts about Mr. Sakurai and his comments about Smash Brothers? Do you believe that another Smash Brothers game will eventually happen, though? Do you think it will have Mr. Sakurai's involvement, or do you not think it will have his involvement at all? And do you think it is possible to do a Smash Brothers game without his involvement in any shape or any form? And what do you think? What are your thoughts about Nintendo's financial earnings, though? Do you think this is good? Do you think this was expected? Do you think this was unexpected in any way, though? Do you think this is an indication that the Switch is slowing down, or do you think it's not slowing down at all? Do you think that does this indicate that it's high time to start talking about their next system, whether it's something brand new, or maybe a Switch.to, or Switch Pro, whatever it might be called? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree with what I said? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you'd like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!